This is the TVS Raider. Everything anyone has ever wished for, all fitted into this 125cc bike, packing the punch of a sporty naked bike and style of an elegant chariot, a fuel efficiency like no other, as it states. Powered by a 125cc air-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 3-valve setup, delivering a peak power of 12.7 bhp at 10,000 rpm and maximum torque of 11.2 newton meters at 7,500 rpm. Paired with a smooth 5-speed gearbox designed for performance and efficiency. The bike features a sharp, sporty design with LED headlamps, LED DRLs, and a modern taillight, giving it a bold Street Fighter appeal. It comes with a fully digital instrument cluster displaying information like real-time fuel efficiency, gear shift indicator, and trip meters, and an optional USB port with additional SmartX Connect options offering Bluetooth connectivity for call alerts, navigation, and voice assist. The Raider is equipped with a telescopic front fork and monoshock rear suspension and a combination of synchronized braking, with the front brake discs coming at 240mm and rear drum brakes coming at 130mm for confident handling and braking. With a curb weight of 120 kilos, a fuel tank capacity of 10 liters, and a claimed mileage of 67 kilometers a liter, the Raider is a stylish, efficient, and versatile bike, ideal for both city commutes and spirited rides. Let's just continue with obviously our first test ride on this bike. So obviously for a 125cc, it packs quite a punch. I mean, I would compare it to like a 150cc motorcycle, even though it's not got that much on the newton meter torque. It's basically got a similar power to torque displacement. It's like 11 newton meter torque and 11 point something horsepowers, but obviously you can't tell that it's that weak on the horsepowers and torque. I mean, look at the igniter, for example. That's a 4-speed and it's got similar power displacement to this, but for some reason I think it's because TVS has got such a good build quality. I mean, like, you got to take into consideration bikes from TVS and Bajaj, even though that they are Indian companies. They're like the best Indian companies in the game, and they really do make quality bikes. For example, when they make the Royal Enfield, that bike has been noticed by so many that it's now available in the UK and places like the US. I mean, look, it's got a nice pull to it. I mean, this bike really is not lacking any power at all from any sides whatsoever. And if I'm going to be talking about the power, I'll be here all day, because for a 125cc, wow, it's light as well. It is pretty light due to it being a 125cc motorcycle. The engine is quite light as well as the body. And then one thing I want to mention about the shape on this bike, I think this bike is mainly based at the younger audience. So like, I think what TVS is trying to do is capture the younger market into riding lower cc motorcycles and make it more affordable for them as well, because yes, it is a 125cc motorcycle, and yes, this bike does not look like a 125cc motorcycle in many people's eyes. It looks more like a 150 to 165cc motorcycle, only because of the shape and the sound that this bike makes. It makes a nice sound for a 125cc motorbike. I'd say this is the best sounding motorcycle within its class, be it the UK, America, India, whatever. This bike, it just sounds wonderful, man. So yeah, Here we are, we're just on our little test riding road. Well, one of them. And I mean the suspension, I know it's not got the full-on USD forks, it's got the telescopic front forks, so like the normal standard forks that you get in a commuter bike. But wow, they really work so well. They're nice and spongy. They really do a good job, man, at soaking up the bumps in the road, if I may say so. And obviously, yes, the front tires, I think that they are 100 at the front, and I think it's like 130 or 140 at the rear. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's got plenty of grip. The braking bike is really nice, man. And I'm not just praising the bike because it's a review, and I'm literally telling you what my test drive, like my first impressions is on a test drive. I mean, as if I had this bike for a week, 2 weeks, a month, then I'll be able to give a proper feel on what it's really like. But this is a first drive review, my first impressions. And for the first impressions, man, this bike's doing a brilliant job at it. I mean, look at it. You can't tell me that this bike does not look pretty. And like, you know, I'll give a good example. With my Hero Igniter, the bike, basically what it does is it tends to vibrate a lot, and this bike does vibrate, don't get me wrong, but the vibrations are not that aggressive as you'd get in like a lower budget 125cc motorcycle. This is basically the top end of the 125cc market, and yeah, you won't get a better bike than this anywhere else. I think you can. One thing that this may not be in performance wise is probably the Kawasaki Ninja 125. Obviously Kawasaki being a Japanese brand, and Japanese motorcycles are basically the ultimate motorcycles in the game for its reliability and performance. With these bikes, man, I mean, it won't be long till you see Bajaj and TVS more bike models, and especially the company, take its place in the UK and the American market, in the European and the American market. But yeah, like on this bike, the seating position is wonderful, man. I can't really complain about the seating position because it's nice and soft. It's got a nice padded seat. Obviously I just touched it now, felt it up. It's got a nice padded seat. It's got a nice padded seat, but however, I'm not too keen on the passengers. I think they'll be quite comfortable because the seats are wide on the passengers, for the passengers actually. I think it'll be a nice comfy place for two people, the rider and a passenger. And then the power, like you get, because of its balance, torque and horsepower, and the lightweight, obviously the lightweight design, it really packs a punch in more or less any gear from 1 to 3. And at 4, obviously it's got that typical 125cc lag, that little jerk. But obviously what more can you expect? It's a 125cc engine. It's not a bloody 500cc up and beyond. And I mean, these mirrors do a good job, man. They let you see everywhere. And one thing I'd really like to mention is, if you do get bikes, do try get one of these little mirrors, because they do make a big difference in your view. Whereas some mirrors you might not be able to see very well with the mirrors, but once you get these wide angle mirrors, they do a great job in capturing your blind spots. Like, I don't really need to look into the mirror or move my hands. The blind spot mirror really does a great job, man. It's nice. But anyways, we're not talking about this review. It's not about the blind spot mirrors. It's about the bike. It's got a nice LED instrument cluster. It's got, you could really flick through this and change the modes on it. You can, but obviously one thing I've not seen yet in motorcycles from India, I think obviously in the higher end motorcycles, which I might not be able to get my hands on, because obviously we are in Bangladesh and we have a CC limit. But I'm sure when we go to a high CC model,
You can see a lot more details with the motorcycle on your instrument cluster, and they'll come with proper TFT displays, whereas this is just a normal LED instrument cluster, a little bit of colour on it with the blue, white, but other than that, nothing very fancy. But yeah, I'd like to mention, this stands out a lot in its market. Within that 125cc range, what we've got is we've got either the half analog and half digital, we've got the full analog, but we've never got a real proper nice neat looking full digital, and we've got it here on the TVS Raider. The bike, a lot of people feel super solid. It does not feel like a plasticky bike like obviously the Hero Igniter, and obviously this is to replace the TVS Striker. The TVS Striker was the base model entry for TVS's motorcycles, and what they did was they discontinued the TVS Striker and they brought this out, and I think they did a massive job on making this an updated 125cc entry level bike for obviously their customers. I mean, at the front it's got the LED headlights, rear LED tail lights. The shape is definitely designed for a younger audience, so like people from the age of 18 to about 25. Obviously you do see older people riding it, but obviously the intended market is definitely for younger people. Wow, for a 125, man. It packs quite a punch, yo. And bear in mind, TVS always makes powerful bikes. For what they are, an Indian company, they know how to make some really good bikes. And I'd say in India, TVS and Bajaj, and if you want to put Royal Enfield in there, you can, but Royal Enfield motorcycles are more like a Harley Davidson style. They only stick to the same type of motorcycle types, whereas TVS, they've got different kinds. They've got commuters, they've got sports bikes, they've got touring bikes, I think. Yeah, so I'd say TVS and Bajaj are just way up there, man. And they're not really that expensive as well compared to, you know, like the Japanese motorcycles. So for the power that you're going to be getting, for the price that you're going to be paying, I'd say this is something that you should really look at, on not just particularly this bike. You should check out other bikes that these people have got to offer for you guys. And it's got such a nice soundtrack, man. 125cc, and the exhaust notes sound pretty sweet. And yeah, man, for local roads, village roads, this bike is more than enough. If you go too high up in the CC, so if you go above 150s, it's just not worth it on these roads. Like, it'll probably be alright on the highways, but one thing I noticed about Bangladeshi highways, they're not even, the roads are not all that on the highways, they're also a bit broken as well. So you need to be careful when you're riding a powerful motorcycle on the highways. I mean, it's a nice little bike to whiz around on, don't get me wrong. And yeah, I think I know what people mean by the complaints that they have on this bike for the seat, because the seat is in some weird shape. The driver's seat, it doesn't really tuck you in to the bike. So yeah man, I'd say this is it for this video. I know it's a short little review. We've literally spoken about everything you need to know about this bike. Yeah, this bike sounds good man. I just feel like twisting the throttle on this thing just so I could hear the soundtrack on this bike. So yeah man, this is the review on, obviously not even a proper review, it's like a little quick test drive on what you'd expect from a TVS Raider. A very wonderful bike. You got the single spring you got a mono spring at the rear, and it gives you that sporty real turning effect, and obviously and it's got the telescopic front suspension, so it gives you that commuter comfort as well. It does a great job.
The TVS Raider offers several advantages, including its sporty design, refined 125cc engine with impressive performance and modern features like a fully digital instrument cluster and optional Bluetooth connectivity. It delivers excellent fuel efficiency, nimble handling, and a comfortable ride with a monoshock rear suspension. However, it has some quirks, such as the lack of rear disc brakes in all variants, limited pillion comfort due to its compact seat design, and the absence of advanced safety features like ABS. Overall, it's a great choice for younger riders seeking style, performance, and practicality at an affordable price. So, the question one may ask is, what do you think of the bike? Is it really the top tier 125cc in its segment, and what would you rate it and why? Well, to answer your question, I think the bike has made a really big statement on what incoming 125cc bikes should live up to, as it is a strong contender for its class with its modern features, ergonomics, and just a more preferable overall design, both for the younger and older riders. So if I had to rate it out of 10, it would get an easy 9 out of 10 in my books, only because of how it stands out in its category. What do you think? Let me know if you agree, and if you don't, please let me know about your opinions in the comments below. If you found this video helpful and it's made you want to buy one, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends or family or anyone who is looking to buy this as their new bike. So that brings us to the end of this video, so make sure you guys stay safe, as I will catch you guys on my next ride. Peace.